All right, welcome to tonight's webinar. Thanks for joining me tonight. And tonight's webinar's topic is Stop the Struggle and Discover How to Finally Create the Successful and Profitable Introvert-Friendly Business that you deserve. Without being a guru, without being uncomfortable or in the spotlight, and without doing the things that you really just don't like. So let's get started. Let's start with me asking you a few questions. Is this how you feel when you're at a networking event? Is this how you show up at a party? Is this how you feel like day to day in your life? Do you have a disc profile that looks like this? If you answered yes to one or more, or maybe even all of these, then you're probably an introvert. So who's this web class for? For people that have a business, people that don't have a business yet, but are thinking that they have something inside them that they want to contribute to the world, and that this is a place for them to share that it's their time for them to share their business with the world. So what's an introvert business anyway? And why do you need one? Well, us as introverts, we're a unique kind of people. You know for yourself that you're unique. You are different in the world. And from all those things that are out there telling you how you need to create your business are mostly driven by extrovert entrepreneurs, trying to sell you the next course, trying to sell you the next gadget, trying to sell you the next tactic. But do you really know what an introvert business is? Is there something about an introvert business that can really connect with who you really are and allow you to succeed as you are? Well, that's what I'm going to share with you tonight. The foundational pieces of what an introvert business is and why you absolutely need one to be able to succeed, to get your message to the world, to get what's inside of you as a contribution to the world out to the world itself. So what's my target for this web class? First, I want to give you what you need to build your true introvert business, and then show you how you can leverage my success of the last 20 years of building, creating, selling, and even failing along the way. Yes, I'm willing to admit that there has been failures because that's part of the journey of life. To take my success and make it yours through what I'll share with you later, the Introvert Business Masterclass. So let me introduce myself. My name is Ed. This is my family. We love to travel and experience different places in the world. Here I am with my wife and my daughter. We're in Atlantis in the Bahamas, in the middle here. In the top left, here's us hanging out on the beach at the Beaches Resort in Turks and Caicos. Here on the bottom left, we are on top of a pyramid in Mexico. And on the bottom right here, I believe we're in an elevator at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. And at the top here, we're fighting the forces of evil with Captain America at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. So who am I? I'm a husband and father, as you just heard. I'm an entrepreneur. I have been one for my whole adult life. I've created successful 7- and 8-figure businesses. I like keeping things simple. I like having fun. And I am, as you are, if you're listening to this too, as you're hearing my voice, are a proud introvert. So where did I get started with my first business? Back in 1998, I started my first business. I saw this vision of the future, which again, all of us introverts, since we spend time in contemplation, we have this unique ability to like see the future of something that can be, that's not even reality yet, and be able to bring that back to the reality today, and then with the ultimate determination and desire and passion and whatever it takes to make that reality, that future vision, become reality today. So my first business was myself and a friend of mine. We saw the vision of the future, and we saw the vision of the future of the digital signage business. And we saw that digital signs were going to be everywhere, and they were going to be used to advertise to people at places where they buy things, which were in retail outlets, in stores, in fast food restaurants, in grocery stores, at gas pumps, and in convenience stores. We saw this vision of the future. And with that, that these would be used to dynamically make decisions based on such things as weather conditions, products available, demographics, all different kinds of data, to make the decision to tune that message to be specific for the people that were there at the time, ready to spend their money. So we saw this vision of this happening, and we knew that 70% of the buying decision is made at the time, at the point of purchase, at the time when people are taking out their wallet, taking out their credit card, and making the choice to spend their money. So we said, hey, this is a great idea. We pitched it to the university. I was a grad student at the time. They believed in our idea as well. They helped us get our company started. And we went around inviting people to participate in our vision. We were asking people back then for $5 million to come and join our journey and join our vision of the future. And although we didn't get $5 million, we got enough to move the business to the next stage. And we became a 6-year overnight success when in November 2004, our first major customer, which was this customer here, Tim Hortons in Canada, invested $50 million to take our vision, our technology we created, our solution we created, and put it in over 3,000 locations across Canada and within the US. So that was amazing. After that, we went on and got to work with some other great companies like Walmart and Home Depot and the Royal Bank and the Bank of Montreal, and eventually with other companies like McDonald's and A&W and Dairy Queen. It was quite a journey, and quite a journey it was. But eventually, after about 10 years, I was asking myself, what else is possible for my life? See, at that time, the company had grown to about 100 people, and I had a team of over 20 people that I was working with that I was responsible for all the things from research and development we were doing at the university with graduate students and PhD students, all the way to the commercialization of those products and handing them off to be operational in the field, and working with engineering and manufacturing and sales and marketing. So at the same time, we're holding the vision of what the company could be. But the company had grown big, there was new investors, there was new owners at the time, and I was asking myself, what else is possible for my life? So I got intrigued by direct sales businesses and really the culture of these businesses. So I joined a bunch of companies in network marketing, multi-level marketing, and really dove into the culture and the understanding of how people sell things, and how do they build a movement around these things, and how do they bring in all these people that are so excited about being part of something, being part of creating a business, being part of doing something more with their life. I learned a lot about sales. I learned a lot about personal development. I learned a lot about leadership, being involved in these businesses. And then finally, I found a glimpse of hope of the future, of what I could create and how I could create it. You see, at that time, I had this idea that maybe I'd be a coach, or maybe a consultant, or maybe an author, or maybe a speaker, but I just wasn't quite sure how that could be. This was at a time in 2008 and 2009 that social media was coming sort of age, and it was getting out of the universities and out of the behind the scenes small things and coming into the mainstream, things like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and things were starting to exist. And smartphones started to show up. iPhones were around, and Samsung, early versions of Samsungs were around. And this whole new world was opening up. I'm like, well, what could happen next, and what could be possible for my life? How can I take advantage of this, and how can I use this to get my message out to the world? I came across this book around Christmas time of 2009 called Crush It by this fellow named Gary Vaynerchuk. And the premise of this book, which really intrigued me, was he said, if you have something that's inside of you that you see, that you're actually passionate about, all you need to do is take it and bring it out to the world and share that message and share that with the rest of the world. And if you're truly passionate about it, the rest will come. He tells a story about, I think it was a fellow that was passionate about worms. And this guy started sharing on a blog about worms and his passion for worms. And people that were also passionate about worms started coming and following him and reading his content. And eventually people started sharing about how they were taking his information and using it to determine what they would, how they'd use it for fishing and what fishing lures they would use. And then fishing lure companies were wanting to sponsor him to share his message. And eventually he grew a business around his passion for worms. I'm like, wow, if someone with just a passion for worms, which seems like not really that interesting a thing, can create a business from that, then anything is possible. So in January of 2010, I started a blog. This was my original blog where I was basically sharing my message and my vision for what I saw in the future of the world. So this blog started on January 2nd, 2010, and I think you can, if you search around online, you'll probably find it still sitting there. But then what happened next? So I started sharing my message with the world. I found a tribe of people that were also passionate about sharing their message with the world and started connecting with them. And I started sharing my dream of the future of where people would have a platform and a place to be able to take what's inside of them and deliver that dream to the world. And what came about was some courses I created back then, and ultimately a platform for people to share their dreams. And this was a real turning point for me in my life, in my career, and really just everything that was going on. So for 2 years within my first business, I was wondering what else is possible for my life. As I found my tribe, I shared my message with the world and started creating things for people to consume to make their lives better, and sharing my dreams with the world, back then with a flip cam and hanging out on the couch in my living room and posting videos on YouTube. Someone else who saw those and was part of that decided they wanted to share their vision and their dreams with the world. When I saw this video that one of my friends shared with me and said, hey, I think you might want to share this on your blog as a blog post. I'm like, I watched his videos about 5 minutes. I'm like, wow, we inspired people. My wife and I inspired people to want to share their dreams just because we were sharing ours. I wonder if there's more people like this. There has to be more people like this. Let's go find them. And from that, this platform of people sharing their dreams called Share Your Dream Friday was born, where each week on a Friday, we would take somebody and showcase them with their dreams and their vision for the future and share that and get that message out to the world through our network. And it grew and grew and grew. And eventually we also had Live Your Dream Monday, where we followed up with people and had them tell us, hey, how was it going on their dreams? Some of them it was awesome. Some they were still working at it. Others, it brought out something totally different as they started taking action. And it was absolutely amazing. And even through all this networking and socializing and connecting online, I even got invited to come and work for a company in Japan and travel to Tokyo to teach business people in Japan how to use social media for their businesses. But then in July 2013, my first company got sold. EK3 Technologies, the company I started as a student with just an idea and a glimpse and a vision of the future and a determination to make it be reality in my world, as all of us introverts really are driven to do, was bought by a $2 billion company called Cineplex, which owns, I think, 99% of the movie theaters here in Canada, for $78 million. And there is another turning point in my life. So I asked this question. As you get to know me, I ask a lot of questions and somewhat retrospective in the questions that I ask. And if you dig deep inside yourself as an introvert, as you're listening to this, you'll know that questions are a key to your life as well. So I asked this question, now what? So I hired a coach or two. I bought a lot of courses. I started a technology company. I joined a Make Money Online deal. I really just tried a bunch of stuff and was searching for what is the next thing for me on my journey. But nothing, and all the things I was trying at that time was really working. So after like 4 years of this journey online since July 2010, where I was actually asked to leave the company that I started, and in a couple of days was on to this new journey, I discovered a way, but I would consider it the hard way, with a slightly evil plan that I had of selling t-shirts on the internet. And this is what I was doing. I would come up with a design for a shirt. I'd get somebody to actually do the design, because being an engineer and a computer scientist, this was not my background. I would post a shirt on a site like Teespring. I'd write some ad copy. I'd find some interest for launching some Facebook ads. I'd make those ads. Most of them would fail. One of these designs might win. I'd scale it as fast as it could and make as much money as possible. While that was happening, I'd rinse and repeat and hope and pray and expect that another winner would show up before the current winner would die off. And what I found as I was on this sort of hamster wheel, not really having a business, I would have a business and then it would die. And then I'd have to create it again and then it would die. And it really wasn't a business at all. So if you're probably struggling in what you're doing, this might be why. So again, I asked this question, there's got to be a better way. And there actually is. And my better way was to just pick one. So I did. I picked this one shirt that had been the most successful. In fact, I sold over 1,000 of them in a 30-day period. And what I knew from that was that which is key for any real business and understanding a market, is these people were absolutely passionate about what they did. In this case, it was grilling and smoking meat. They were willing to spend money on things like this, which meant they also had discretionary funds available to spend on things. So those were the criteria that I knew would create a successful business beyond just selling them these t-shirts. So I went on and created a community called I Love Grilling Meat that today has over 325,000 fans on Facebook and growing. And at the same time, of a membership and a paid VIP community called the Grilling and Smoking Association. This is where people can hang out with other pit masters and lovers of grilling and smoking meat together and share all of their tips and tricks and secrets with each other to make each other better at what they do. So I started with a Facebook page and grew this community and ended up with an email list. I think now is over 250,000 people. We started a Facebook group, which was a private group for people to come and hang out. At the beginning was free and eventually became the paid membership group for the Grilling and Smoking Association members. I started a store where we sold our apparel. We moved it off the Teespring sites and the third-party sites and started selling it ourselves, along with barbecue accessories. And then eventually we got deals with grill manufacturers where we could sell theirs as well. We started a blog where we curate other people's content and showcase it and started generating traffic here as well. And we found out, after listening to our customers, asking them questions, and looking at what the community was truly interested in and passionate about, that these three products were the things that they bought the most. So we put these together in a box, packaged it as a free plus shipping offer. We launched it in July 2015, and for 2.5 years since then, this product and this business, combined with a membership into our Grilling and Smoking Association, has generated over $1.4 million with a 30% profit, with only 2 part-time contractors plus myself and my partner, with no attractive character, meaning I was not putting myself out there as gurus do to try to sell you things and try to get you to buy things, or like, I didn't have to get out from behind my computer. I didn't have to turn on my video camera. With no branded products, we import these directly from China and ship them to our customers. And with now an active community of members of over 2,500 people, this was the foundation of an introvert business. And I proved to myself that this could be created, that this could be reality. From my slightly evil plan of selling t-shirts online to picking a niche and going deep, and this being the results over 2.5 years, that you could create too for yourself. So then I asked this question again, what is possible now? So I want to share with you 3 secrets that I believe are the foundation of an introvert business. Now, these aren't going to be tactics of how to do Facebook ads better or how to get more people on your email list or things like that. These are what I believe and what I've learned over the last 20 years that truly help to create the foundation of us as introverts. And again, if you're here, then you most likely are an introvert. And if you're here, you're most likely an introvert entrepreneur. And I believe if you know these 3 things and understand them about who you are and what you're really all about, then the success of the business just becomes the mechanics of picking what it is and going through the steps to make it happen. So secret number one I want to share with you tonight is why every other thing you've ever tried so far was actually created to make you fail. And the one thing that will actually change everything. In fact, this one secret I've already shared with you on the webinar tonight so far, but I wanted to share with you how this came to be for me on my journey. Secret number two, how the gurus are not really the only ones who can create a successful business, even though as you're scrolling through news feeds on Facebook or searching around on the internet, it seems like all these people that are really excited and putting themselves out there and jumping up and down and rah, 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 seem like the ones that have had the success, but really, in fact, they never really have. And secret number three, why secretly listening to your family and friends can actually motivate you for success rather than failure. Here, I want to share with you my experience with my family on this journey and how early on I realized and had sort of this light bulb moment that made me understand how to leverage my family for success rather than failure, even when they didn't understand what I was actually doing with my life. So let's get started. Secret number one, why every other thing you've tried so far was created to make you fail, and the one thing that will change everything. So does everything you see online make you feel like you've got marketing overload or the fear of missing out? Like, oh, look at all the people. Oh, that looks so interesting. I can't miss out on that offer. I just got to have that. Or would you consider that you might have this shiny ball syndrome or the love of shiny objects? Or does all this leave you feeling like you're frustrated and overwhelmed, or you're on this constant hamster wheel going from thing to thing, just thinking that next thing is going to have have what I need to succeed? So let's ask this question: what do you actually really need to succeed? And that is keeping making the main thing the main thing, and just choosing one. So I shared earlier how I went from selling all different kinds of t-shirts week after week, day after day, like always searching for the next thing that was going to be the winner that's going to take off and make me thousands of dollars again, to ultimately choosing just one. And I remember earlier on in my career when I started my first business, and it seemed like I got lost in this time, like almost 15 years later, where we made the decision that this thing and this vision we had of the future was the reality that we could create today. So us as introverts, we know that we have this ability to see the future. We know we have this ability to look deep inside of ourselves and reflect and see what can be possible in this future. And then at the same time, and I think this is where we have our biggest struggle, and where you may have had your biggest struggle too, that might be holding you back from the dreams that you could have, the success that you actually deserve, is that we see all of these other things around us and we start to doubt or wonder if what's inside of us is actually the thing we could create. And the way we see how it could be created can actually be done. When we see and it's perceived and we start looking outside, that's when we get off track of making the main thing, and choosing just one. So you know you have what it takes, and it's okay to choose one. You need to be okay. You need to believe that it's okay to choose just one. And then also, at the same time, be willing to take a step forward and potentially screw it up. Because you can always choose again. So, if you keep it simple, you will actually never lose again. So how does it get better than that? Make the main thing and choose just one. It's how we as introverts were created to be. And when we do this, when we choose this and we make this happen, it can get better than this. So moving on to secret number 2, how gurus are not the only ones who can create a successful business. I'm going to show you that most likely, in fact, they never really have. So what's the actual myth about the gurus? Are they these people that hang out on mountaintops in silence and prayer and never speaking to anybody for days or years, months? Is this your vision of a guru? Or how about the guy with all the flashy cars? Or a Ferrari and a bunch of books in his garage? Or this guy that probably rented this, this Lamborghini for an hour so he could take these goofy pictures of himself and post them online? Or these huge houses that people are flash around as mansions, or rolls of $100 bills, or even this guy who lives in a house of gold. But do you remember these ads online from like 10 years ago? Things like my weird money machine that cracks the $1 million a year code and delivers $198,016 every month for anyone who can click their mouse 7 times. This was my experience first when I first started looking online in 2008 and seeing what people were talking about, seeing what the gurus were about. And I dove into that space because I was fascinated by who these people are that were creating these things. I was fascinated by the possibility that people were making hundreds of $1,000s a month, hundreds of $1,000s a day in some cases, and one fellow I saw made $1 million in 24 hours. And I thought, wow, if this is possible, then I want to know more about what it is. So I went on a journey of discovering and meeting a bunch of these gurus along the way, and specifically in the internet marketing space and the online, make money online space. And I met a lot of them that were making huge amounts of money and had great success. And then after about 8 years or so of being in this space and being online, most of them have disappeared. There are a few that are still around, but most of them are disappeared. And I asked myself, what is it about this that made them just not hang around? So when we as introverts secretly want to be like the love guru, he's one of my favorite gurus on the planet. One of my favorite movies, Mike Myers. He was an awesome guy from the 90s on Saturday Night Live and made a whole bunch of amazing films. Good Canadian fellow. When all we introverts actually need are these things. We need the idea. We need our mind. We need a laptop. And we need to know who we actually really are. Do you actually know who you are? Do you truly understand who you are in relation to other people in the world? So I want to introduce what I call the introvert's secret weapon. And I mentioned this briefly earlier at the beginning of the presentation, but I believe the introvert's secret weapon is called the DISC. It's a personality profile you can take. There's a lot of them out there online and a lot of them available, but I believe this is the best one, the easiest one, and can give you the most information about yourself in a simple to follow way. So what is the DISC? The DISC is an acronym. It has 4 different things to it. The D is for dominance, the I is for influence, the S is for steadiness, and the C is for conscientiousness. These are 4 different personality types. The D is focused on results and action. The I is on action, enthusiasm, and collaboration. The S is focused on stability, support, with a little bit of collaboration. The C is focused on accuracy and stability. And let's go through these a little bit more in detail so you can get a glimpse of what this is and what these all mean. So dominance is a person who places emphasis on accomplishing results, focuses on the bottom line, and exudes extreme confidence. Their behaviors, they kind of see the big picture, but they can be blunt. They accept challenges, and they like to get straight to the point. Typically, these are like your top-driven salespeople. If you ever want to hire a salesperson for your organization, find somebody that is a D-type personality. The second is influence. This person places an emphasis on influencing or persuading others, openness and through openness and relationships. They show a lot of enthusiasm. They're optimistic. They like to collaborate. They don't like being ignored. They like being with the crowd. They like being around people. They get energized by being surrounded by people and being the life of the party. If you know those kinds of people, then they are an I personality. The S stands for steadiness. This is the person that places emphasis on cooperation, sincerity, dependability. They don't like to be rushed. They have a real calm manner about them, a calm approach to everything, and they have supportive actions in all that they do. The really empathetic people are the S-type people. And finally, the C, the conscientiousness people. It's a person who places emphasis on quality, accuracy, expertise, competency, and truly just want all the details. They like being by themselves. They like objective reasoning. They want all of the details. They have a fear of being wronged, almost to the point where some of them are OCD in what they do and how they do things. And these are typically someone who likes numbers and spreadsheets and analytics and all the details of what's going on. So here's my DISC profile. I'm an S, a 99S, an 88C, a 60I, and a 14D. And so technically I'm an SCI. Now, introverts can be across all the spectrum of the things. But why is it important to understand your DISC profile? First, it's important so you know who you are and how you show up in the world. Second, whenever you're going to be working with somebody as a partner, or you're going to hire somebody in specific roles within your business, you need to find out what their DISC profile is as well. You need to ask them to take a test, to take this test as well, so that you know how you can engage with them, how you can work most effectively with them, and if they're going to actually fit into the role that you need them to play. As I mentioned, salespeople are high Ds and high Is. Those two combinations drive the people that could get on the phone and close sales for you day in, day out. They don't mind hearing no. They're driven to overcome objections. S-type personalities are there to create community, create movements, lead companies, and really just succeed in making the vision and the people and the pieces all come together. The C's are looking at the details of how all of that works within the organization and within their lives. So not only knowing your profile is key, but knowing the profile of others that you may want to work with, you may collaborate with, you may hire on as part of your team. It's key to understand this as part of the process of bringing them on board. So Now it's time for you to discover your DISC profile. You can find it here at www.tonyrobbins.com/DISC. It takes about 20 minutes to go through the DISC profile itself, and you will truly understand who you are. When I learned this about who I was, this was around, I don't know, 2006 or 2007 when I first looked at my DISC profile. In fact, also with my wife, she did it with me, and we understood together who we were. It really changed everything and allowed us to understand ourselves more. And as I took this into business and into relationships with others, it totally changed the way that I was able to choose partners. I was able to hire employees, contractors, teammates. So my tip for this is when we know this, we can create and contribute like these people who I believe are the real gurus of the world, like Mark Zuckerberg, like Bill Gates, like Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, like Warren Buffett, like Elon Musk, and one of my friends and mentors, Russell Brunson. These are all introverts, entrepreneurs who saw a vision for the future, was willing to bring it back to today, right now, and take what's in them, what they could see in them today, take the action to make that vision a reality. This is the drive. This is what a true introvert is capable of doing. So when you know your DISC, you will always win. And how awesome is that? All right, finally, secret number 3. Why secretly listening to your family and friends can motivate you for success rather than failure. So I came from a family of, I would say, entrepreneurs. My grandparents were people where my grandfather was in the Air Force in the Second World War, and then came back and worked for the government for the rest of his life until he retired and got his pension, and that was it. My dad, he worked for the same company for over 30 years until he retired and moved on, and now lives in retirement. I decided in 1997, when I graduated from university, undergraduate, with 2 degrees, at the time when my friends were getting 6-figure job offers, and multiple of them, not just one, with stock options and this lure and excitement of Silicon Valley and the dot-com boom and everything that was going on there. I decided, and I knew something inside me is saying, nope, a job is not for you, and this is not the path you need to go on. So I put my $70,000 of student loans on hold. I signed up for grad school, and I went searching for what was my reality going to be. I decided that I was going to create my future, and it wasn't going to be shaped or created by someone else. But I just didn't know what that would be or how that would come to be. So grad school was a great place for me to think, for me to explore and wonder what that could be for me. And eventually it led to starting my first company and the story I shared earlier. But along that journey, my family, and in particular my father, was not that supportive. And he would always ask me, when are you going to go and get a job? When I started my company, when are you going to go get a job? When I actually hired people and I had people working for me, when are you going to go get a job? Even at the time when I had over 20 people, the business was over 100 people, he's still asking me this question. And I didn't really understand why he was asking that. But what I realized early on my journey, and again, as us as introverts, when we really use our mind and our space and time of reflection, we can ask these deep questions and go searching for, hey, what are the true meaning of these things? Is he could just not grasp the reality that I was in. And once I realized that and I understood that, it really was a driver for me to continue to create the reality that I wanted to have. I wasn't interested in his, and he just couldn't understand how my point of view and what I was going to create could actually be something. Can you relate to this in your life? Are there people in your life that have sort of looked at you funny or wondered why you were doing things the way you were doing, or trying to tell you that in their own way that this wasn't the thing you should be doing? If you haven't, then that's awesome. If you have, then if you truly take a look and see that your reality and their reality actually don't match, and they can't even fathom or understand what you're actually trying to do. They have no ability to, as we talked about, see the future, bring it back to today, and take the action day after day, time after time, make it reality. It's not what they can comprehend. Once I realized that, it was actually became a fuel for me to want to go faster, to want to even more. And by the time my dad retired in 2013, I showed up at his retirement party it happened to be at the same time when my first company sold, and said, "Dad, I have retired too." And it was at that moment where he finally understood what I had been doing and what I was creating. And since then, things have been much better and more in acceptance of our own realities. So if you've had this happen in your life, where the family and friends seem like they're trying to knock you down or maybe not support you, if you really understand their reality versus your reality, you can use that to drive your success, to create your reality even more. And if you believe in yourself and believe in your knowing, and you actually listen to you, then this is what will make things happen. This is what you have inside you as an introvert entrepreneur to make your success a reality today, to make your dreams, your vision of the future a reality today. So there you have it, my 3 secrets of the introvert business. Secret number 1, why every other thing you've tried so far was created to make you fail. And the one thing that changed everything, how the gurus are not really the only ones who can create a successful business. And in fact, they never really have. And finally, why secretly listening to your family and friends can motivate you for success rather than failure. So let me ask you a question. We've been here for almost 50 minutes. Maybe you feel like you've been like this girl here that's been like doused with a fire hose or a whole bunch of water. I've thrown a whole bunch of ideas and things at you, concepts, experiences, stories. But what if you were able to model what actually works? What if you're able to take what I've done over the last 20 years and model it for your success? What if you had a step-by-step blueprint for introvert business success? And what if you could apply that to any niche or market? So introducing what I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, the Introvert Business Masterclass. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to share with you how you can, at this time, basically leverage all the things I've learned and done in the last 20 years and apply it to what's inside of you, what your vision of the future is as an introvert, and make it a success for you. So here's what you're going to get with the Introvert Business Masterclass. It's a 6-week class where Module 1, I'll cover the 7-figure introvert business blueprint. I've broken down all the details and the step-by-step of what it takes to all the steps I took to create the I Love Grilling Meat community and the Grilling and Smoking Association, where you can take that and apply it to any niche that you have and have the same success. Module 2 is the secret core foundation of the introvert business success. I've shared 3 of those with you tonight, and I have 2 more of those that I share within the course. And with those 5 things, you become unstoppable as an introvert entrepreneur. Maybe you are already moving and you feel unstoppable now, but I think these other ideas will also push you to a whole new level. Module number 3, the simple introvert business models. There are 3 models that I've come to know over the last 20 years that support introvert businesses. And you can take one of those and move ahead with it, or any combination of the 3 of them will work in a certain way to make but I'll share with you what those are and how you can apply to your business and what you're doing. And module number 4 is I call Fun with Facebook Ads. I've been using Facebook ads since around 2008. I think that may be around the year that they started them. And Facebook ads, if you've been following along online or you've seen other things that people are telling you about them, about the Facebook algorithm and this and that and the other thing, they actually, when you get down to the fundamentals, and again, us as introverts like to look at, okay, what is it that I actually need to do to have success? And for me, it's about having fun and keeping things simple. You can actually have fun with the Facebook ads to create the success that you need. Number 5, how to operate your business on just 30 minutes a day. So after you get everything set up and you've hit your first $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, eventually your business can be optimized and automated with a team there to support you to make it run. And you could, at that time, choose to run it on just 30 minutes a day. Or you can take what's in module number 6, which I call my super secret profit multiplier, where you can learn how to scale your business by at least 10 times in 2 different ways. 10 times in one way, 20 times in another, and watch your business grow beyond what you may even think is possible at this time. Depends where you are on your journey. But all of these are included in the 6-week Introvert Business Masterclass. So who this works for? This works for anyone who's an introvert. Again, if you're here, you most likely are. If you're listening to my voice, you most likely are. Anyone who's an entrepreneur, again, if you're here and listening to my voice, you most likely are. Anyone who has the desire for more. Anyone who's willing to put in the work, and anyone who is willing to do whatever it takes. This last one, when I learned this along the way, along my journey, it changed everything for me. And if you have this in you, which I know that, again, that you do because you're here listening to me, then you can make this happen. But maybe you don't have a product yet. Don't worry about that. We got you covered, and we can figure that out along the way. Because one of the first pieces of the puzzle when I started the I Love Grilling Meat community I didn't have a product. I still don't have one that I actually created for that business, but we figured it out with some specific tactics and strategies you can put in place to support figuring out what that needs to be. And you know what? You can actually do it. I love this picture of Rob Schneider here. I think this is an Adam Sandler's movie called The Water Boy. But you can do this. So what if all this did was finally get you a business that works for you as the true introvert that you are? Would it be worth it? What if all this did was allow you to never have to be the attractive character that they told you, that those gurus told you that you had to be successful? Would it be worth it? What if all this did, the Introvert Business Masterclass, would give you the ability to have a profitable business without having to change who you really are as an introvert entrepreneur? Would it be worth it? This one cost me about $20,000 to get started. I love grilling meat and the Grilling Association. But it made me over $1.4 million and still growing today. So you can see why this would be a good deal at $5,000 for the Introvert Business Masterclass, to take all of the things that I've done over the last 20 years and put to practice for you today. And at $19.97, when it's officially launched, it will also be a good deal for you. But because you're special today, just for being here right now, you can take advantage of this offer for $497. $497 for the entire Introvert Business Masterclass, the 6 modules that I shared with you already. If you're ready to get started, go to www.introvertbusinesswebclass.com/go. So now you have 2 choices. The first option, you can just do nothing, not take this leap of faith, which is really 100% risk-free. And the second option is to pony up a small investment today. Just give it a shot. Come along for the ride. Come along on this journey that I'm embarking on to take everything that I've done in the last 20 years and will continue to do as an entrepreneur, as an introvert entrepreneur for the rest of my life, and give back as a contribution to you and to the world and to this planet. If I can't help you make money in your business, then really, I don't deserve yours. So my 30-day guarantee, if you sign up today, if for any reason it's not actually working for you, just let me know. Even if it's the 29th day, 23rd hour, 59th minute, even if it's gone over by 1 minute after the 30 days, no big deal. Just let me know and I'll give you your money back, no questions asked. But on top of that, I want to add my 90-day success guarantee, where if you put in the work, so will I, to support you in whatever way I can, in whatever way you require and desire to make your success. And in 90 days, you could be on the path to the introvert business of your dreams. The one that's, maybe it's one that's already started and just needs some extra help to move to the next stage. Maybe it's one that you've had a vision for the future, but never had the time, the courage, or the mentorship or the help and support to take it and get it started. So if you put in the work, so will I, and we'll make it happen. So the real question is it worth the gamble for 30 days of your time to check this out and truly become the introvert entrepreneur you were born to be? And for the people that are here live, as special members, you'll get a personal 30-minute, usually these are end up being 60 minutes, because I'm so interested in people's businesses and how I can actually contribute to them and understanding them and who they are to make them a success. A one-on-one business assessment session, weekly live Q&A sessions, the possibility and the opportunity to be at the beginning of a movement of introvert entrepreneurs. Like, for me, this is not just a class, this is not just a course, this is just the beginning of us introvert entrepreneurs taking a stand and showing up in the world in the way we truly be to create the success like this world has seen before from other introverts and other introvert entrepreneurs, and allow the possibilities for you to do that too. And there'll be much more things than this. As I said, this is the beginning of my contribution to the rest of the world of what I've done to create this movement of introvert entrepreneurs that truly, again, have this vision of the future, willing to bring it back to today and take the action needed to move it forward. If that's you, and again, I know if you're here listening to my voice and we're drawn to this, then this is you. Then it's your time to come along on the journey with me. So you can get started today for just $497. Go to www.introvertbusinesswebclass.com/go. So I want to thank you for taking the time today, taking an hour of your time this evening to hear about where I've been, where I'm going, this movement of introvert entrepreneurs, what it means, and how you can be part of it through the Introvert Business Masterclass today. So I'll hang around for a few minutes to answer any questions you might have. Again, I appreciate you. I thank you for spending the time with me tonight. And if we take one thing away from this, certainly I'd like you to join me on the journey together, and let's work together one-on-one and make this happen. If you take one thing away from this, is truly know who you are, and that being an introvert entrepreneur is actually there for your success and there for you to succeed. And if you're willing, which again, I know you are, if you're here listening to this, then take that step. Take that step forward, even if it's just one little step, one step of the way. It will create the momentum you need to get moving with creating your vision of the future into reality today. So again, thank you very much. I hope you'll join me on my journey, and we'll create this new movement of introvert entrepreneurs today.